this is one of the first videos that I'm actually creating. I want to kind of go over some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of how I Photoshop and how I create the images that I use for not only my day job but also, um, my business, my side business as well. So please subscribe. Please like these videos. Please share them if you feel like other people could use this information. Some of the stuff is going to be very basic. Some of it's going to be more advanced. But I'm just going to go over some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. And maybe you don't know about some of these features if you're just starting out in Photoshop. But this is going to be kind of not a one-size-fit-all type channel. This is going to be integration of all sorts of different types of information that I hope will help anyone along their journey, whether you're a graphic designer, web developer, or a photographer for that sake. Even a videographer can actually benefit from some of these tips and tricks because you do work with photos from time to time as well. So what I'm going to show you today is actually the new feature in Photoshop. It's been around for a little while in 2021, but now we're in 2022 coming up. This is called the sky replacement feature. Now, to be fair, what I used to do before this feature came out was I used to have to select this sky, as you can see here. So I'm going to zoom up. I used to have to select this sky and then kind of do a layer mask. So I'd have to go into layer, new adjustment layer, mask it out, everything like that. There was also another way where you could kind of fill it in and kind of brush out the different areas of the tree here, as you can see here. That took forever. That was the old school way of doing it, and the new way of doing it is so easy. So they have this new thing under Edit, under Sky Replacement. Now if you click this, you'll be presented with a few different options that are default for Photoshop. And basically what they're doing here is they're kind of multi-layering a sky. Some advanced features like layer masking, smoothing, the shifting of the edge fades and everything. And then they're also adjusting for foreground adjustments. So they're actually you can actually mimic the warmth, the Kelvin of your photo. So if you click this down button, you're going to see a bunch of different skies. You're going to see blue skies, spectacular skies, and sunsets. Now you can load your own from a stock photography site or something that you've shot, but for this example I'm just going to pick something that they have. Now to be fair, to make this work and make it look realistic, you have to know something about vanishing point, because your photos have a vanishing point regardless of what you're looking at. So for example, I can't choose this sky right here. It's just not going to look right. As you can see, and let me move this aside, see how the clouds look all large and puffy, and these right down here look really large? Well, that looks awkward because the vanishing point is wrong. So from when you're looking at a photo, this back horizon point, the clouds should be much smaller than the clouds up above, which should be closer. So when selecting a sky, you might want to pick a sky that's more appropriate for that scene, that has a better vanishing point. See how this looks better in terms of the perspective. So if you like this photo, what we can do is we can change the tonation of the warmth of it, and just modify it a little bit. So just by going warm to cool, you can see how that dramatically changes it. What it also does is actually does change this warmth of the photo. So if I go up here, down to here, it changes it. Same with the brightness. Now, since this is a day shot, I would probably go on the brighter side of things. You can shift the edge and everything like that, which is really cool. One thing I'm going to do before I do anything, I'm going to deselect the mask that I did, and I'm going to go back into Sky Replacement and show you kind of what it looks like. And you can shift the edge. I'm going to keep the temperature on cool, give it a little bit more brightness. Down here you can change the lighting mode. I don't know if you can tell, but like say on these trees right here, if I change that lighting mode, you're going to see how it gets darker to lighter. See how that gets darker the highlights right here get lighter and darker. Typically, you don't really have to mess around with that. Same with the color adjustments. That does very minute adjustments to the scene. I typically don't mess around with this too much if I don't have to. There's also the scale button, which can actually increase the scale. I typically don't mess with that either. I usually leave it around to make sure it's covering the scene. But as long as the perspective looks good, I usually leave that alone. And then when I think I'm happy with it, I might just warm that up a smidge just to match the overall look. I just double check everything, make sure everything looks appropriate to the scene, and then I can click off preview, click preview off, click preview on, back and forth. And this is helpful because as you can see back here, see these tree branches right here? And I go to preview, see how some of them get washed out? So I can go up to shift edge right here, and I can bring back some of that detail. So if I go to preview again, I don't lose as much. And what it's doing right now is it's blending the original sky, which is this, to the new sky, which is that. Just lends a little bit more realism to the photo. And then when you're ready and you hit OK, you'll see down on your layers panel here what it actually did. So you had your sky brightness, your temperature, the sky itself, and the foreground lighting and the foreground color. So after you do all this, you can still control all of the settings that you did, and then you can go into your midtones and really fine-tune the color of the sky itself. So it's a greater control over your sky replacement, and it actually makes your life a lot easier. And I can actually do something that used to take me maybe 20-30 minutes. It can take me now 5 minutes at most to get it just the way I want it. So this is sky replacement for Photoshop. It's very useful, and I hope you guys can kind of mess around with it if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Please like and subscribe because it'll help me out too. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next video.